Hi, Donna. Hi, oh, hello, Tanya. We're finally here. Hey, are we ready to start? You're going to hear some background noise. We do have the Cricut running. It's almost done cutting, so that'll be off in just a few minutes. But let me just, it's a little chilly. We're going, I have this one from the kit, the original kit. There was the 2 kits, if you remember. The second one will be done by the time we're matting the pages to kind of give you, this is the Cozy Christmas. And you know what? I haven't used my camera in so long. I've got to go in and fix my, as we're talking here, whoops, settings. I should have done that before I started talking. And that'll just take me a second. I don't know why it doesn't hold my settings anymore. Okay, so that is Cozy Christmas. This is the farmhouse market or Christmas market, just to give you an idea of the 2 different looks. And when we get to the decorating part, the other one will be done. No, you are hearing, well, yeah, you're hearing the Cricut, not the chickens. The Cricut is going for just a few more minutes. I'm not going to do the walkthrough because you can see the walkthrough. I've already done that on my YouTube. And I just wanted to again show you what we're going to get, where we're going to get started. And I've already opened my kit. This is actually the farmhouse one, but I put mine all into a bag. So I've got everything ready to go. And if you ordered the kit, then you've probably already gone through and played with all of yours too. But tonight we're just going to be, I've broken this down and I just am going to kind of give you a walkthrough. So if you noticed at the top of this video, I already posted for you today's cutting guide of what we're using. And this is where I'm going to be posting it. So if you didn't buy the tutorial or the kit, you won't have this written copy. So you'll just want to go ahead and follow along, or like I just now put in the comments, you'll see the measurements. And then it is also up here at the top of our, what do you call it, header, when I put it in the StreamYard. So to break it down, tonight we're going to start with this top part, and I'm going to highlight those for you so you kind of get an idea of how I do the December daily. So if you're new, we're going to do our chipboard cover. We're going to wrap the chipboard, of course, and now I'm going to make a page with you, and then you'll be able to continue. And then the cardstock to wrap the spine, and that's where we'll go down to for today. And then next week when I come back on live, then we're going to start with, because you'll have your pages made, we're going to start down here with the front of page 1. And I've got all my dates. So everything will be broken down into dates so that we, it just goes along really nice that way. And then nobody gets overworked or overtired from sitting for hours. So we're going to create our cover. I'm not, there we go. I'm not doing it. Sorry, guys. I'm still here. I don't know what's happening. We do have a lot of machines running. Am I still on Facebook? I have a question. I know you guys, I am here actually. I think, there we go. I think Facebook kicked me off for a minute. Yes, I'm back. And I think it was Facebook. That is really weird. No, I didn't run away, I promise. Do you have sound now, Linda? Okay. No, I think it's just Facebook. If you bought the kit, you have the pre-cut chipboard. And you have 2 8.5. And again, you can look at the cutting guide you got, that I put up there, or your cutting guide, 2 8.5 by 10-inch pieces. And our spine is 3.5 by 10.5. And the reason it's so wide is we have 1/2-inch gussets. And I also created my hinges 1/2-inch so that there's extra hold on these heavy pages, because these pages are holding an awful lot. How fun is it, though, to get it all finished? Hi, Phyllis. Then let me grab our cardstock. Again, I'm using black on this one. And I did cut 2 pieces that are 10.5 by 12 to wrap our cardstock. And this is for the spine piece, 6.5 by 12. Then you're going to want a piece that covers the inside. Well, inside. This 10.5 by 9.5 is going to be my hinges. My 8.5 by 9.5 is one of the pages. And I have an 8 by 9.5. That'll be, our pages have to be done in 2. I can't do it in 1 for the size of this album. So let me put that in my basket. And then the 8 by 9 7/8 is going to be what we put on the inside to cover our hinge to give it some strength. So I'm just going to put all those pieces in. I use one of these baskets while I'm working, so everything just goes in there. But we want to start with our chipboard, and I like to use the sheet of score tape. So however you like to prepare your chipboard, if you're just using score tape and then you're going to use glue in the middle, whatever your preferred method is, then you can go ahead and get started. And I'm going to use a combination here. Oh wait, no, I don't have to. I forgot. This is the 8.5. It fits perfect. And then I just use my blade. And trim off the excess. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the second piece. Hi, oh, thank you, Diane. Hi, Stacy. Hi, everybody that's popping on. Thank you, Tanya. And also, I have to tell you, Tanya has already created this album because she was my proofreader. So she went through and we made sure before even starting that everything was right in my measurements. Hi, Mary Jo. But Tanya should be on. She'll be popping in and out. Of course, I know she's got her family too. So if you have a question and I didn't answer it, Tanya will try and grab it. I mean, she's going to be watching for those. And she'll also be here to help us out. This one, I'm going to turn my score tape sheet over. This just makes it so much quicker. And for those of you who are already, you're pretty experienced, you know what you're doing. You can be assured because Tanya has already done the proofing of my tutorial. Like I said, you can even keep working ahead because all mistakes were ironed out before we even sent the kit out. Oh, Tanya's on both YouTube and right here on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. So on our Facebook group, if you need a question answered and I don't catch it, so I'm going to use this for that inside piece also. I've now got my chipboard all prepared. This step, of course, if you're just using glue, you'll skip. And you won't add any adhesive until you're ready to put things together, of course. I've got my spacers. And I'm actually going to start with the two bigger pieces. The 8.5 by 10.5. So you'll need the 10.5 by 12-inch cardstock to wrap with. And I just have my 10.5. I use my scoreboard also. Hi, Adrian. I use my scoreboard as I'm creating because it just keeps things straight for me. And of course, the spacers, which you can get at Country Craft Creations, are awesome because you just slide your chipboard and you've got your perfect fitting of your cardstock. And you don't have to hold a ruler or do anything. Sometimes, yeah, we have to work the score tape down. You know what? I was wondering if there was a full moon, Tomalee, because last night when I got up in the middle of the night, oh my word, it was bright outside, and I meant to check on the calendar. All right, so now if you're using just glue, go ahead and add it everywhere. I've already got my score tape backing off. I just hold those together. Just push your chipboard in. And you're good to go. And I'll repeat with the second cover piece. Also, you don't have to wrap your album this way. If you have your preferred way, or if you're new and you want to try it this way, I love it. I don't wrap any other way now. Well, hi, Trisha. Well, hello, Sally. I knew you'd be here soon. You will love them, Bev. No, Kim, the tutorial, the written, well, Kim, it's the written cutting guide. Do you have this cutting guide in your kit? It will look like this. It'll be double-sided. If you didn't, but you purchased the kit and it's not in there, I'll email it to you, but it should be in there. It's not a full written tutorial. I don't do those. Then I'd have to charge you a whole bunch of money for a tutorial because that's a lot of work. Okay, our next piece of cardstock, 6.5 by 12. Hi, Beth, and Beth is who her and her husband created these beautiful spacers for Country Craft Creations, and she had thought they were going to be much more useful than me, how I use the chipboard. And I'll tell you what, they're my daily go-to, Beth. I love them. So thank you. Your hinge is 3.5 inches. So I always do this piece for no matter what my hinge is. This is 3 inches bigger. We're going to have an 1.5 inches on each side because we need to connect. That's what's going to connect our book together here and create this beautiful looking spine that just, I can show it to you better on the black. Sorry. The beautiful looking, see, look at that. And then it opens and closes and it lays completely flat. So you can have your album all done inside, but you're still going to lay it flat because you're going to want to work on it from time to time. And see, this one's completely done, but I'm still going to put it upside down and work on it flat. I mean, it's big and, hi, Linda. But now I can still work on it. Plus, I can, lay it flat and it looks nice. And your pages are just going to close beautifully. Hi, Wendy. How are you? So we only need one spacer. So I'm going to put the other one away. And like I mentioned, I want 1.5 inches on each side. But I still only want 1 inch at the top and 1 inch at the bottom. So my chipboard will sit just like so. And it doesn't matter if you want to take that through like that. However you want to place it, it's going to come out the same. See, that's what that will look like. Perfect. Gotta make room. Okay, I'm going to start with the spine piece. And oh, thank you, Jen. I'm glad you do. That was all Sally's doing. She got that all orchestrated and told me what I needed to do, of course, because she's pretty bossy, So thank you, Sally. Yes, she brought the texting to my attention. Once again, like I mentioned, if you definitely can go ahead and just work ahead on this album because the mistakes were all worked out. And if you're experienced, you're probably already done with your cover even. And we're going to first fold both of these sides over. And I like to make sure it's neatly burnished up against that edge. Now I'm going to fold this backwards because our hinge is a working part of the book, and these are basically your hinges that hold this together. So I'm going to gently push in to make that nice and neat there. still going to burnish that well. So you can see the difference. It's kind of bumpy. And I also want to bring to your guys' attention that, you know, it's winter and we kind of go through this every winter. We have some cracking problems with our black cardstock, even though it's about 90% not going to crack. In fact, I don't have it crack unless I put my tool through it. But the change in weather, especially if it's cold, you might have some issues. And it's not a problem with the paper. It's actually a problem with the weather. So I like to just let everybody know that's kind of like your winter warning, because it does happen with your black, especially if you have it down by a heat vent. Move it, because you don't want it by the heat vent or an air conditioning vent, if you're lucky to have air conditioning. See these triangles that we now created in the corner? We're going to cut them out. And I do go right up to the chipboard, right where those fold lines intersect. And we're going to cut it right out. And then we're going to cut this triangle out. Yeah, we're still working tonight. That's why you hear background noise. Yes, with that text number, you can text your number and you will be notified whenever I go live. Or if one of the team members are going to do a live program, or we just want to, you know, text you an update. But I promise you won't get text a lot. I mean, with only it's for the informative stuff. I'm going to fold this inward, one of the sides. Just make girls, and then we're going to see mine's got a little bit of a. There we go. And it's just, mine is down by a heater that I need to move. With this side folded in, I'm going to take my scissors. I want to, let's see. Oh, well, awesome, Pamela. Let me know, though, if I need to do anything different. I'm going to use this chipboard because I know a lot of you are beginners. My chipboard is called, I use it as a stopper. See my scissors? They won't go anywhere. But if I put it up and I can kind of rotate my scissors. The whole thing about this bind or any when making a box, you've got to keep that straight line. And you don't want to lose that straight line right here that's connecting where this intersection is. So use your chipboard as your stopper and then point your scissors inward. See, and it's going to keep it straight, but it won't take off too much of that edge, which is sometimes what will cause what we call, you know, like a hole or a space in that chipboard. And that will save you a lot of heartache. I'm just going to clean up this edge with my file. Like I said, my paper has been down where it's dry. So I want to now do the same thing on this other side. We're going to repeat. And just turn your scissor in at that edge. Come up to the top again, and now you've got that straight edge. I'm going to fold in now our two end pieces. We're actually going to glue them. I just glued mine down. Well, hi, Jen, and welcome. Jen is brand new to our design team, so I'm excited to see her designs. She's popped on tonight. Okay. use the art glitter glue. Even if you're going to use tape, that's fine. Use your glue along the edge of your chipboard. Really work it up there. And we'll bend that over. You tell her, Stacy. My fingers slipped. Oh yes, we love cutter bee scissors. I use them all the time on everything. Well, almost everything. Again, squish that glue right up to that chipboard. And now that's what that's going to look like. Now we need to trim these edges. And this is where I've gotten a lot of feedback that there's a little, you're getting a space up here where there's a little hole. And I think it's because if you're doing this and you're getting that little hole, then you're cutting too far in at an angle. So again, use your chipboard as the stopper. Put it at the edge where your blades are going to cut and just literally leave that so it's perfectly straight. It just continues, and then there's a slight tilt. I have to turn this over, and if you're left or right-handed, it'll be totally different. Again, I left it so it's straight, and I just trim it from here, keeping my scissors straight. And over here, once you get past about 1/8 of an inch, it don't matter. You can even take that deeper if you feel the need. Just make sure you leave a little tiny bit at the top. And again, because you can't go any further than your chipboard. Then I just move that off. You can see it's sticking off. It's sticking over. I've got it sticking over this top. And I will clean that after I get my angle. Just so it's nice and straight. Oh, Donis, you have the scissors in yours. How fun is that? So that is ready. We're not going to do anything else until we wrap our 2 big pieces of chipboard. So I'm going to go along all the edges. Going to burnish the edge of the cardstock. If you're not using the artisan linen, check your cardstock and make sure it will handle that. Okay, we're going to cut the squares out. So you've created this square right up to the chipboard. I cut the square out. Linda, I saw your pictures today with the enchilada sauce and the mess that your puppy made. Hi, Suzette. I have to admit, Wilbur's calmed down a lot. Thank goodness. And don't like to pull it out. There we go. Again, I'll fold one edge over. I'm going to just barely miter that. Oh, it's okay, Linda. You can say the F word if it's after your dog. Oh, Sally, it was Pumper's fault. I saw the pictures. So now miter the edges again. I'm using the chipboard as a stopper so I don't cut too deep. But when you do your covers this way, there's really, you're not going to have any spaces or holes or anything like you normally would have. I'm just using the art glitter glue this whole process, but I used to put the score tape, around, and I just found that this works just as well, and I don't use as much product. And then whether you use your bone folder or your fingers, just push that cardstock on that edge. Oh, do you make yours this way too, Patricia? Yeah, I like it too. It's a lot less work on your hands. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention too, with it being winter, and you may see your cardstock. Do you notice your nails also? Mine start breaking in the winter because they're so dry. And our paper's kind of like that when it dries out. Yes, this video will be recorded. It stays on my YouTube and it stays right here in Scrapbookers. And because this is done as I call it a series that we're doing, I will make a unit file here on Scrapbookers in the units tab, and you'll be able to access it anytime that you want. Now, sometimes I have to go back and just trim off if there's anything sticking beyond this edge of chipboard. You'll just trim that edge. And then you're going to check your fit. And if you feel you need to miter it a little bit more, because we all like it either inside a little bit more, and you can do that because you've got complete coverage. Oh yeah, hard to sift for the, yeah, I wish we could, Tracy, I wish we could rub that on our paper and make it work, right? Again, I'll just check my edge so there's nothing sticking out. So all this all the language? No, it doesn't, Lillian. Well, we've had some ladies that, yes, they've lost a lot of coins because we do a coin steal for swearing. Yes. You know what, Robin? I'm not using score tape. I'm just using the glue because I found I don't need to use that much product, and this works great. And I really like it for that, but I still like my score tape sheets to do this outside cover because it's such a large surface and trying to get everything. I just want to make sure this is super secure, and I like that because you can also use this as like a canvas. You could just because the score tape held it down. So I love using that for the covers. Yes, and the glue does add the moisture. You're right, Beth, on the paper on this edge. So it helps keep it from cracking. Now, when I did a tutorial, it was with the paper dolls from Graphic 45. We actually wrap the whole box we make by using that glitter glue around the edges of the chipboard because it gave the paper the moisture. And so you can actually wrap with it and it didn't crack on us. We had about that much snow, Chris. Our teacher still went to work. Yep, here in Utah, it doesn't matter. They still go in the snow. But it's kind of been raining now. It's getting rid of the snow. Let's cut out those square corners. Hey, Froggy, how are you? We're talking about dogs and how naughty they are. How's Dixie? Yes, Mr. Wilbur is actually, oh, he's asleep, Trisha. I fed him right before I went live, so he's asleep. Plus, all the girls are here working, so he has plenty to keep him busy. Well, when you get two of them, Jen, two dogs together, yeah, that makes it worse. Okay, I'm just going to fold down my one long side. Wilbur's been on the counters during the day lately. I've caught him in the camera, and the other day I went upstairs, Pamela, and he was standing on the kitchen counter looking at me like I had no business catching him standing on the counter. Linda, did you put that puppy on a diet? Oh, Trisha, he ate an Ugg boot. Wow. Who left the boot out, as Sally would say. Oh, no. Oh, rolls are bad for Wilbur. He can't have bread. It was our fault he was on the couch. Oh, you shouldn't have caught him. Well, I did catch him. I knew Sally would catch that one. I just knew it. Going to fold that down and do a quick fitting, basically. See, there's really no worries. I don't have to worry about if I trim anything. I'm not going to cause a hole. I'm not going to cause a major deficit anywhere on the paper that I have to cover. So Who, Wilbur talk to me? Yeah, he talks to us all the time. This side. Just noticed something I need to trim. There we go. Oh, it's RJ. I didn't see RJ here. Hello. I didn't know that, Margaret. So Margaret just posted that a good tip for stopping dog spoil on the counter is to put tape on the edge. You know, we had a scat mat, but we can't find it. And it just gave a little, you know, like the horse fences. And so he didn't jump on the chairs, but we don't know what happened to it. So I'm going to try the tape. Good idea. Okay, I have my front cover and I have my back cover. Now we're going to connect. We're going to connect it to our spine, and I want to show you two different ways. One way, which I learned from one of our customers at a retreat, I believe it's Pamela. She actually puts it to the outside, and you can do that. I have done that. It's a little different when you connect it, and I did it on our album, Ancestry album. You do have to leave a 1/4 inch space between the chipboard, like normal. So for me though, I just like this look where it sits on the inside. All of the papers are on the inside. I have that nice clean spine to work with, and I don't ever have to worry about any paper cracking. So totally up to you guys. Ask Wilbur where he went. Oh, where it went. So I'm going to lay down. I'm going to use my board here because I'm going to put this at the top. And that's one thing to check for. So when this is down, when you put down your piece of chipboard, it should be about 1/8 of an inch away. See, it'll pop. It'll kind of give you a little bit of a pop. That was more, of course, when you know that it's basically in the right place. Right? So keeping about 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. The glue will squish in there if you're using a glue. Now I'm just going to lay my chipboard down. I do it both ways here in just a minute. Now keep your chipboard about 1/16 of an inch. Now see it popped up. Away from here, you don't want this overlapping. And then if you have any kind of a tool, hi Annette, and I have glue there, so I'm just putting my tool in. And this is just from Harbor Freight, one of their electrical picks. Just put some pressure there. And yes, this is sticking up because I wanted to. Turn it over. I'm pushing down pretty hard on this chipboard side. And then if you need to just catch any glue on those edges. Just don't push your tool in there too hard because you will go through. And I'm going to do this side. And when I'm looking at this, I can see I've got some cardstock just over the top. So now's the time to clean it up. Now, when you're laying this down, mine looks a little wonky. It looks a little off, and it throws you off, but don't let it, because see, when you close it, your cover's going to be just fine. It's kind of a deceiving look for some reason. Way to the top. Almost over to where that bends. Oh, you're welcome, Pamela. I'm glad you like it. Thanks for popping in, Jen. Let's turn it over. And again, I'm pushing pretty hard with a very flat edge. Pushing that chipboard down. And let's just go ahead and flatten those edges. And if you want, sometimes I just put a clothespin. And my clothespins are like, they're gone. How weird. Oh, I know where they are. I used them on my pages to put them together. You can use a clip if you want, if you feel that it needs this. Just to hold those bottom edges together for a moment. And then when that dries, we'll be ready to put our spine in. Actually, we're going to put a piece of cardstock. And that's what I'm going to cut now. This is going to cover the inside right here, because it feels pretty kind of loose right now, but this is going to change everything. So my piece right now is 8 by 10, but you want it to be 8 by 9 7/8. And the reason mine's a little short, the sides, it doesn't matter if I like accidentally cut into it or something, you'll see in a moment, but the top and bottom does, because that's what's going to show. And I like to use my score tape sheet for this because we're working with, we don't want to get it super wet inside of here, because that's this piece underneath there is that hinge part, and you just don't want to, you don't want it to get saturated with, and the glue is going to be a little bit moist, and the chance of it cracking through might happen. Because this is part 1, Linda. This is our December daily part 1. See, I want to lay it on here. And then I'm going to cut this down to 9 7/8 along with my cardstock. I mean, this in there. Because I want to make sure I don't, because I cut it by hand. And I don't want to cut into it. Yes, we're just doing the cover. So this is part 1. Like I said, on the side, see, I just kind of cut into the cardstock, but it's not going to matter because we're going to cover that and hide it. But I don't want to do that to the top and the bottom. So now I'll use my cutter. I'm going to just take 1/8 of an inch off of my cardstock. And then it's nice and clean. Then we can use those for later. Yes, Tracy, you can use your score tape. I'm not a big fan of thinking score tape, though, is permanent. And I used to just use a piece of score tape and glue on there. But it will work, yes. Out here, it dries out so bad in Utah, we don't have any humidity. So the score tape tends to dry out. Just like, you know, or if you use a cheaper score tape brand, it will turn yellowish and kind of dry and pop off. Yeah, I've had that happen. So now I'm just checking my top and bottom because you want to see how well this will fit. And see, it should overlap your 1.5 inch. These are those 1.5 inch pieces. And the reason being is we don't want it all to land in one area. And this is going to spread out the thickness. I'm just going to trim this on my big cutter. Final edge there. I think the glue is because it has polymers added to it and different things, but that's because I'm out here and it's so dry. It works so well. You know, I just think dark glitter glue especially is pretty permanent on everything. I've dropped books and they don't come apart. Okay, so this again is going to cover the center. I've removed the backing. Check again my top and bottom. Not too concerned about side to side. Oh, the scoreboard makes a world of difference in everything, I think. Okay, I am pushing. Want to make sure everything's where it belongs. Now you can see you're getting some substance here. Ow, and I just poked myself. Let me get a Band-Aid. That's what I get for not paying attention. My husband walked in and started talking to the girls, and so I was watching him instead of putting the cap on the blade.
Mind your own business.
Go cook dinner. Put your apron on.
Go to your fish.
All right. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Another Band-Aid. What can I say? All right, let's find that area. Do not push hard. But let it kind of go on its own. And we did get more of these in today, and I love the Dress My Craft. I didn't at first. Oh, I do now. You can score with them, everything. Okay, let's do this side. Oh yeah, and if you're down in a cold area where your crafts are, take your art glitter glue upstairs with you. Absolutely. It will freeze. But Heather, I hope that your work area is not that cold. So I'm just working this little by little until it goes. Oh, here comes Mr. Wilbur, Tricia. Okay. Right now I've got a little bit of glue that's still drying, and it will. And there's our cover. And I just kind of work it back and forth. And let me show you the inside of our album. Behind here where the hinges go, see, I did not mat this back piece, but you certainly can. I did mat the hinges, between the hinges, but you can see the brown. So I did not put a piece of pattern paper here, but you can. And if you want to, you'll do that, of course, before we put our hinges on. And you would cut your piece. This is 3.5. And now your cover is 10. So I would cut a 3 or 3 3/8 by 9 7/8 of an inch piece to go here. But once again, I'm not putting one back there because it's hidden pretty much by your hinges. Okay, hinges. Look, we've made that cover in an hour. Isn't that great? Okay, your hinge piece. It's 9.5 wide by 10.5 wide. And 9.5 wide by 10.5 long. Sorry. Now, I think I have found a problem, Tanya. Oh no, it's right. Our pages are 9.5. But the scoring, there is a boo-boo. Oh, we found a boo-boo. This is probably the only one. Tanya was so careful. It says with the 10.5 at the top of your scoreboard. We don't want the 10.5 at the top of the scoreboard. Or do we? Oh my gosh, I haven't been live in so long. Oh, you do want the 10.5 at the top of your scoreboard. Never mind. I need to just read the instructions and keep going, not thinking. Stop thinking. Sorry. Okay. It's for this. This is the scoring tool to dress my craft. 10.5 is at the top of the scoreboard. Sorry. And I did put the scoring measurements up there at the top of this video so you can follow along with that. And we're going to start by scoring at 3/4 of an inch. Okay. We have to score next at 1.5 inch. You're going to notice we are scoring 3/4 all the way down. So 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4. Again, no, there'll be 1 or 2 days that it has to change, but it'll be the same day. December daily will always, well, there's 1 week it'll be on a Tuesday. So yes, always watch. So 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, 3, 3 3/4, 4 1/2, 5 1/4, 6, 6 3/4, 7 1/2, 8 1/4, 9, and 9 3/4. And you know what? Like I said, I haven't been live in a while. And I feel rusty. And so I'm going to pop up these scoring marks here in the video so that it'll be at the bottom of the screen. And that way you will see them. I meant to have this all ready for you. I'll have this up next week. So there's your scoring marks at the bottom of the screen. Yes, the Lives for Everything Authentique will return in February. But it won't be weekly because we're going to be doing this weekly, and I have a few other things that are happening, so I won't be able to do them weekly. Once you've gotten your piece scored all the way across, you're going to notice the hinges do not have wings. They do not have that 1/4 inch lip like I used to have. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this first 3/4 inch piece. And I am just going to fold it backwards using the paper to push down against it. And we're going to burnish that well. And then I'm just going to fold these over. Now, one thing I want you to notice with these hinges is sometimes that will stick out at the bottom. So if you want, on each end, I'm going to take a 1/16 of an inch off, just a hair off. And I meant to do that in the beginning with you. And what that does is it keeps your hinge from extending over the bottom. And fold that back. And you'll notice it's a little bit shorter. And that's a-okay. I don't like it when it hangs over the edge because it gets smashed. And I've had it happen on a couple of books and it just doesn't look nice. So we have these two together. This becomes a hinge and it moves back and forth. Now we need a gusset. So we've got a 3/4 inch gusset. So we're going to take the next two. You're going to skip that gusset. And you're going to burnish the two that we just pinched together. And then I push down against my scoreboard and form the next hinge. So there's 2 hinges. That is the Stampin' Up cutter, and I do like it for a small cutter. It does pretty good. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not going too fast for anybody. Then we have a gusset right here. And so we need to leave that. We're going to take the next set and pinch those together. So we have 3 hinges. So we have 5 pages. And then we need to leave a gusset. We're going to pinch the next set together. And then back and forth. So then we have our gusset, and we're just going to bring the last two together like we did when we started. And for whatever reason, creating your hinges like this, and the way we're going to create the pages is what keeps your books laying flat. Am I actually skipping a score mark? I'm not sure, but no, I'm not skipping any score marks. So you take two and pinch together, and then you're going to leave a gusset. So you don't skip any. Well, you could kind of say you skip it and then go to the next. Skip it, go to the next. You're welcome, Tracy. And then pinch the next two. Skip. Bring your two together there and then skip. And then your fourth set of hinges and then skip. And then your last. So I'm going to turn it over, and that's what it looks like when it's pushed all together. It will come together nicely. And I'm going to start by gluing this first piece down. And I'm adding the glue to this piece because it's short. Remember, I cut mine off so that it does not extend below that score line. But make sure if you're using the wet adhesive, you're spreading it around really well. Okay, now, see, we skip that. And right down in that valley there. It doesn't matter what side you add your glue on at all. So we're going to just push it together. I just fold it over, keeping it straight that way. And I can see if things are keeping straight by folding it over flat. And I'm using the glue, so I have to be patient, go a little bit slower. I'm going to fold it back. I'm getting glue everywhere. Then we're going to put it down in the valley and just come up one side. Skip right here. Skip this, of course. And I fold it over flat. You can see my two hinges there, but I want to fold it flat because I can see if I'm keeping everything, straight in a line. I put the pattern paper on after, Anita. Because you'll get it all messy if you put it on first, if you're using a wet adhesive. And because I cover that inside the gussets a lot of times to cover up boo-boos from like when I was doing the pages, you'll see. Now I'm going to fold this completely backwards because when you're using glue, you're going to kind of feel that it needs to be worked a little bit more. Okay, now this is my third gusset. Bunny, I can slow down. Just tell me where I need to go back to. And then I'm going to go right inside of that valley. When I'm done with the live, it does stay recorded too. And then you can stop the video and slow it down. And I'm going to fold that over. But I'll go back if you need me to explain a part. You'll see you've got a gusset there. And you can put this together however you're comfortable. Now you can see where our gussets have all come together. This is that very last hinge piece. Okay, fold that back. Still going to do some more burnishing here. Now I have my 4 hinges. But you're going to notice if you've used wet adhesive, this is wanting to go that way. I'm going to burnish it back, and I can you'll feel where the paper has not been like flattened. So just flatten it with your bone folder. And let's just smooth out all of anything that's going to get in the way of our hinges working smoothly. So I'm just going to bend them back and forth for a little bit and burnish them. You can do it a couple of times. You can do it as many times as you want, but by doing it a couple of times, you're going to make these hinges more flexible. See, they're already more flexible. And that's what you want. So there's our 5 hinges for 5 pages. And that's what your back looks like. And when you're done with the scoring, just play with it until you get the way it's supposed to look. Okay, let's grab our book. I put the hinges in first. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. You can even leave this off, put your pages on it, put it in. You can do it so many hundreds of different ways. Let's just take. So I like to put mine in. Now, one thing about doing these hinges is nice. I'm going to fold those ends in. See, and I get to have a view now of exactly where I'm putting this. You can even flatten the whole thing if you wanted to, so that you can really get it in there nice and straight. And I'm turning it over. And just on these, there's just 4 flat surfaces now on the back that we're going to add the adhesive. And with art glitter glue, you still have to work kind of fast. It dries super fast. But I do want to get it pretty much covered here. I'm just going to center it. Push those in so I can see. Left to right. Oh, well, good night, Jennifer. You're fast. Jennifer is fast. I'm just going to go through here. Really push it down. Go back with whatever you like to use to get this glue spread around. Use your fingers, you can use your tool. Now, I am going to go back again with my hinges. I work them really well. I don't like to just put them on and then wait for the pages because then they're too stiff.
Hey.
Oh, Wilbur, get out of there. Sorry, he's in something he's not supposed to be in. And he's got it in his mouth. Okay, I think that's good. A little bit of glue at the top. Now see how easy they work? Wow, we've done really good. I plan on going for 2 hours. But now, see, when you close it, you still have that. I like to have space there. And you still have that nice space. Man, these are some older diaper wipes I have with lint, and there's lint everywhere. I'll have to get it all off when I'm done. But I don't like my hinges right up next to the mechanism that's going to close, because that's when your pages get stuck in there and they get kind of beat up. So we've got our hinges on, we've got our cover made, and now we're going to create the pages. And I have one cut. I didn't think we'd get this far. We've done really great. And on your instructions, it does say, so if you have the written instructions, they're 8.5 by 9.5. And one thing I said was to cut it short of 9.5, which means don't quite go to 9.5 because you do want this to be just a hair short. It'll fit better on the hinge. So let me go ahead and cut mine down. Oh, what you need? Oh, you're fine. So that's our first piece. Then our page, basically your top piece, is 8 inches by 9.5. Oops, I need to score. And we're going to start with the 9.5 inch piece. At the top of our scoreboard. And you're going to score at 1/2 inch. I'm just making sure I'm telling you right, and I'm not. Okay, 8.5 at the top of your scoreboard, and if you did score that, you're still fine. Score at 1/2 inch. Eight and a half at the top of your scoreboard, and score at 1/2 inch. This one we're not scoring. Now, I want to go ahead and miter the corners. You're going to make 5 of these. And I am just making one with you. No, you know what? I am going to have to make all these with you. It just occurred to me. So I will make these. We have time. Because putting them all in the book is different. Okay. What I do is I take the top cover that was the 8 by 9.5, and I wrap my hinge to the outside. I'll show you why. You don't have to. You can sit this on top if you want. I don't like it on the inside, especially if I'm going to put tags in there. I don't like this catching. And then also, I know this is just going to be a better fit. So I put it on. And again, you can do this any way you like. Holding those together at the bottom. Then I just set it down. I'm going to cover this with paper. Then I know everything is straight, everything matches, you're not off, and you don't have to swear at your paper. And And then that's how we're going to create these. So I'm going to cut 4 more. I need to cut them to do with you when it comes to putting them in the book, because it can be different if you haven't done it this way. Do you have my other ruler? All right, let me see if these 4, and I'll just cut my 8.5 by 9.5. All right. Do you guys still, I'm going to, well, if nobody needs the scoring guides down at the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and take those off. But if you need them back up, let me know. I can put them back on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and score the other 4 pieces with the 8.5 at the top of the scoreboard at 1/2. I'm going to do the exact same thing to these 4 that we did to that first page. Now remember, I'm not cutting on this edge. I'm coming up from the score mark a little bit. I never cut directly into the score mark. Oops. Most of the time your scoring's 1/2 inch, yes. Unless it's something special that you're doing, you need a bigger score line. Okay, again, I'm just going to take the smaller top piece and also what happens here, see, this is a little off, so I'm glad it is so I can show you, because these pages are so easy to fix when you do it this way. You're not stuck with, oh my gosh, it doesn't fit right, how am I going to fix it type, of scenario, which can be really frustrating when you're having to throw cardstock in the garbage. So also when I put my pages in, the hinge that we just hooked will be the back. But now I'm looking at it thinking, oh gosh, I really cut that crooked, didn't I? And I did. So now I can just fix it. Except this blade is getting dull on me. I need to use my big cutter. And then also, if you cut it and say it's just a hair short, you don't have to worry because it's going on the sides of the hinges. It's not going to matter. I like them because they're very forgiving pages. Again, this hinge piece where we connected will be the back of each page that I do. So again, I just want to put them together. Now you can also use a clip or something if you want to hold them together. Hi, Raven. Gosh, it's a long time. It's no see. It seems like I haven't seen a lot of you for a while. And again, it's a little off, so I can just trim it up. So we're up to 3 pages. No, I haven't. It's been a bit since I did a tutorial back when I did the North Pole, when we did the virtual retreat. Oops, that one looks good. And no, because I've been making the albums that we are putting together now. Trim that one. Now, there's another fun thing, and I've shown this before. Let me get a tag. Because you do have the tags also in your kit, but you'll notice the tags are too long for this album. I mean, the pages are too long. So if you wanted to use any of the tags in your album, but you wanted to stick out at the top, which I really like to do, then what you want to do before you get started is lay your tag inside of your album where you want it to hit, and then just draw a mark at the bottom, because that's where you're going to glue this whole page shut. You're going to add adhesive when we close it. Otherwise, you can just put it along the bottom here. And on this one, it looks like I need to come up 1.5 inches on my pages so that the tags will fit. And if you're not worried about that, then you can just add 1 strip of glue at the bottom. I'll show you here in our book. So that's what I want to grab now is my book. And I'm going to lay my page down. I'm putting it right, I'm butting it right up to the hinge. So we're going to fold that hinge over. See how nice it folds over because we've really worked it. And then it's a little bit bigger than just 1/2 inch because this is going to be a heavy, heavy page. And your hinge is the same length as your page, so you don't have to worry about fit. And I'm going to add about 1/4 from the, 1/4 of your hinge. Just add your adhesive. Your hinge is going to be the same length as your page, so just line it up, butt it to where it won't go anymore. And just lay it down. I'm not really too worried about glue getting in there. If you are, you can just, wipe it off. Now I'm going to fold this backwards before we attach it. I want to check this fit down here. You don't want it to extend. And now, with your glue, we can go ahead and fill in the rest where we need to. Oh, Sandy, thank that. You're so sweet. Thank you. I don't know about that, but thank you. Now let's go and fold this back over. Now we want to close this. So again, I'm going to add my adhesive. And along the bottom, because we're going to make it a pocket page. But if you want it to stop somewhere, you can even have it stop halfway and use a smaller tag. I'm going to go ahead and add the adhesive in here to close it. So my tag now knows where to stop. I'm going to fold that over. Go ahead and get the edge closed first. Nope, I don't taper the ends. They're the exact same length, so you shouldn't have to taper. And I don't like to taper because then you can kind of see. Oops, you can see that angle, but you can, Joyce, you certainly can. There's no rules really here, guys. So using your tool, if you're using glue, you need to get it spread around. See, you probably have a space there, but I like to have that space because I'd rather have the space than glue everywhere. So now I can get my glue right inside there. Now this is why I don't put our pretty paper down. If you do and you get glue all over it, you're not going to be happy. So, and if I do get glue and it's smeared all over, then I can cover it with the pretty paper and there's no fear. And the way I keep my orientation straight is that's why I have this 1/2 inch. Can you see that 1/2 inch there? Is now at the back. And see, my tag knows where to stop. You're not sure where I taped the second part of the pocket? Do you mean when we rounded it to, when we brought it to the back, Linda? See, there's that 1/2 inch. And then you just add glue and fold that 1/2 inch over, just like if it was an envelope. Okay, but you only have a 1/2 inch to seal that envelope with. You fold that over. Now, I want this at the back. I'm going to open it. And one thing to remember, your tag is 1.5 inches, so it's about there. And I want to match it with the bottom. You see, you want it to be perfect. And sometimes, if you have one of the tapes, let me grab mine. I use mine a lot when I'm just creating. They're the Easy Dots Repositional. I also just put a couple on my page, and I'll show you. Okay, so I want to lay it down. So it's right. And then that will hold it for me. So see, it doesn't go anywhere. And then I can check. And I can check that it's all lined up, that it's cascading. And one thing you want to check for is that this top page is not hanging over. You don't want it to come to the bottom here, or it's just going to get mangled. So if it's too long, you can either pull your page back a little, or you can trim this. Yes, it does make sense. You mean you could leave it so it's like this, but it'll be very hard to work on top of, to put flaps and things. You certainly could leave it if you weren't sure. Yes, you certainly can do that. Or you can just glue it over and leave it completely open here at the bottom too, I think is what you're asking. Yes, you can leave your bottom completely open. And yeah, like Tanya said, she doesn't ever put her pages in first. I do. I don't like, I put my pages in and I build, we're going to build everything, all of this stuff. I build this separate and then I add it to the page. I don't like to, here's the difference. So when this page is completely built, it looks like this. And when I go put it in my book, if I make a mistake, I've ruined more than a page. I've ruined every single thing I made. So that is why I don't build them, but you can, okay? I like to put the pages in, build on top, because while I'm building it, if I mess up this little flap, I can make a new one. I don't have to put it on the book. I hope that makes sense. So, but you definitely do it how you feel comfortable. So all of these we're going to build off the book, and then, and we map them and everything, and then we're going to put them on the book. So yes, that's the nice thing. There's so many different ways you can do this. So on this one, what I'll do is I'll leave the bottom open to show you. So I know that that's going to be a good fit. And I'm going to add my adhesive. Again, straighten things up because you probably will have to. Just fold that over. Flip my book over. Always clean out that tip before you stick it underneath your pages in case you've got glue hanging off. And I can take that off now. Okay, so what Pam was asking, so here, if I was undecided and I didn't know what I was going to put through my book yet, or you may not even want any tags, you can just close this all the way up. So right now I'm just going to close the side. So you might want to do a combination of different size tags. Maybe you only want a 4-inch tag. Or a photo mat sticking at the top, which is nice because it saves on paper too than making a full one. So see its top and bottom is now open, so I could go in later and just stick my glue up there and decide where I want my book page to stop. But I already know I pretty much want 1.5 inches, so I'm just going to get some glue up in there. yes, this takes a little more time because you want your pages in there right. Is he got something he's not supposed to? Wait, Wilbur, yeah, come here. What is it? He's being naughty. And with glue, you just have to be patient with it. Okay, let's page number 3. Yes, Rhonda, that's Wilbur. So I'm going to lay that down, and I just want to check. And see, this one's a little bit long, so I want to trim this top piece because I do not want it hanging over that edge at all. Well, did you get in trouble? Yes, he got in trouble. Hi, Carmen. So I can lay this back down and check. If it's too long and hits the bottom, it mangles it. Okay, line up the bottom of your page. See, they're starting to lay really nice. And line it up with the bottom. I just like, also, I feel like I have more control of my pages this way. I like knowing and seeing inside. I don't like that guessing. Did I get it on the hinge? Is it centered on the hinge? This way I can see everything I'm doing. And for me, it takes the stress out of putting the pages on the hinge. And especially when I don't have a lot of the, I have none of the flaps, pockets, or anything that I know if I ruin, then all those fun things that come with putting your page on crooked. Okay. For me, I'm closing it at that 1.5 inches. Again, you can just do a thin line at the bottom if you want longer tags. Use your hands because you need that weight to hold everything in place. And your pages will be laying flat naturally. Fourth page. Again, I just want to do a dry fitting to make sure it's not too long. Because it's better to correct it now. Oh, I love that one too, Linda. Yes, this was handmade. Don't throw it away. Give somebody the guilt trip. One of our stamps does say that. I try to use that on any of them that I give away like that because it guilts them into keeping it, right? Oh. Man, these things are they're so full of lint. I thought I'd just use them. They were sitting there. Oh, you're welcome, Sherry. Squeeze together so glue doesn't come out all over the place. Now see, your pages are in order, lined up. I also want to show you, mine is just a hair long. And that is something that I'm going to be able to correct right here on the book. And it has to do with how I put my page on. You just make sure your scissors are sharp, and then you can fix it right on the book. My hinge was out a little bit, so I must have either scored cattywampus or attached my page at this point cattywampus, but now I was able to fix it, so we're good. Okay, and our last page. And again, it'll just be my dry fit to make sure nothing exceeds past where your hinge ends, because you can trim it off now if it does. It's better that, I'll show you, better that your hinge even comes up a little bit than being too long. And I need to trim my page. Thank you, Tom. Yes, the video stays recorded. So you can go back and you get this. If you did not get finished or you didn't even start, then you'll get caught up, because next Thursday, the 4th, when I finish here, I'll give you the rundown of what we're doing Monday or next week. And you don't even have to have this book done. I mean, to make, because we're making all of the components that go on all the pages. So even if your book's not done, you'll be fine. Getting glue everywhere. I may not have to add any. Just a little bit. Well, missed that one, didn't I? Okay, this is wet, but this is artisan. So I'm cleaning that up now because it'll dry. I had a big thing of glue stuck there, and I don't want it to become permanent, so I just use my wet wipe lightly. So I'm going up about 1.5 inches approximately.
Okay.
That's where I'm squishing it all out. Yes, next week's live. Also, if you are on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, the number is not, I'm not going to put it out here on YouTube, but we have a texting number, and you'll get notifications when we go live. It's only for the notifications for the live shows, and you can sign up for that through Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations on the Facebook. So this is my wet one. It is wet.
No, you get it.
Wilbur's playing ball. All right, there's just one thing I want to do. It doesn't matter. I just glued it because I do have a bunch of extra tags. Now these tags, if you have the kit, came in your kit, and I'd measured in the back if you just joined us, but I'd already measured knowing how far down to go. If you don't want to use a tag, you want to make your own, I would just go 1/4 inch or however much you want, or you can even glue this top closed. You don't even have to have, have it as a pocket page. Already did that. And so totally up to you, your choice. I've even glued it shorter for the ATC tags, and then you can put 3 ATC tags. You just want to measure it before you glue. So I always keep a couple of blank tags at my desk usually, so I can have those for measurement purposes. Now I just want to go back through just one last time and make sure I didn't miss anything. Everything's laying flat. Your pages should be laying flat. They'll bulk up as we add on flaps and add on all of our other stuff. Oh, Carolyn, I was hoping you'd be doing better by now. There we go. There's the cover. Yeah, I have a gallery over here clapping. So there is your album cover. Whoops, clean off the tips. And we did that in 2 hours. Pretty cool, huh? So there's your complete bare album. And you can even put a bunch of these together this way, and then you'll have them. And that way you'll always have an album ready to go. Okay, next week, let me go through real quick what we're going to do. So if you've got your cutting guide, you can go ahead and mark these with me. We're going to start with the front of page 1. So now I'll go ahead and through. So the front of page 1 is what we're going to create these flaps. And we will mat. We will mat these as we go. We will be creating the flaps on the front. And so if you want to mark that, you can mark that right on your sheet. And you can either get everything cut or you can even get it made. And we're going to do the back of page 1. And in the kit, there are the graphic 45 tag, the long ones, but I cut them down. Okay. These are the regular ones in your kits cut down, or you can just use the regular size. So I did use large magnets on this page and this page. So you'll want 2 large magnets. And then we're going to do the front of page 2. And that's, again, another large magnet, so you have it. And this is where we'll get to on the 4th, because we have quite a few elements here to create, and then we'll have this book. And this I didn't mat until the end, but we're still going to create it that goes inside this pocket. Okay, so we'll do the front of page 1, back of page 1, and the front of page 2. And that's where we'll start next week. And we'll do this little guy towards the end. The instructions are right here. The instructions were inside of the kits. So Carmen, the kit has the cutting guide, which is just the measurements that I'm giving you as I'm going. So you'll just have to watch each week, and I'll be giving the measurements as we go. Okay, thank you, everybody. And this will be recorded, so you can go back now and get caught up or get started, or if you need to just check what we did. And I'll see you next week at 4:30 Mountain Standard, same time for next week, right here on Scrapbookers and also on YouTube. Bye, everybody. Oh, the kits right now, the kits are sold out. The complete kits were on the website, but they are sold out. Bye, everybody.